welcome back to another edition of Sling Paint. You guys wanted another video tonight, so I'm doing another video tonight. How's that? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so I actually was going to save this for tomorrow night, but you know what? I don't have to go anywhere tonight, so we're going to do this video. All right, so we have a guy that posted up. Looks like a young lad, and he posted up on our forums, and his name is DallinC. And he says, all right, so my club at school's going well, and I enjoyed the practice that I get now. And my friends play this list, all right? And he calls it the Hunter Rebels. I Rebel, says Hunter. It's a 100-point list. What's up, guys? I see a bunch of people coming back on online. Again, this is recorded live, just so you guys know. And he basically says, he goes, it's a TenNumb and a HanSolo list. It was actually pretty interesting, and there was a lot of talk about it on the forums. The link is actually on the forum link below if you guys want to get involved in the conversation. But his friend plays this list. So he basically, let me actually bring up the list here and switch to camera view so you guys can see what I'm seeing. All right, there we go. So he calls it the list Uggh. And basically, let's first get the breakdown, all right? So he's got TenNumb in the B-Wing, and I love the ability of TenNumb. When attacking, one of your crit results cannot be canceled by defensive dice. Love that. That also means evade tokens. Evade tokens adds a defensive dice result, so you cannot block it with evades. He has calculation. It says when attacking, you may spend a focus token to change one of your focus results to a crit result. That's nice. He's got fire control systems. After you perform an attack, you may require a target lock on the defender. So he's got reroll ability, and with calculation, he's got potential focus changing to a crit ability, which is even nice. And for 1 point when attacking, you may spend the focus token to change one of your focus results to a crit result. So if you action economy up with a focus token, you can actually bypass the hits and make one of them crit results. That gives you some options. I like that. Then he's also got Bistan. I rarely see this crew, but it says when attacking range 1 to 2, you may change one of your hit results to a crit result. I mean, he's just putting a bunch of crits out here. And then, of course, the B-Wing E2 title, which is the upgrade bar, gives him the crew slot, which allows him to have Bistan on the B-Wing here with TenNumb. So Bistan and TenNumb together, this is producing a lot of crits. And then with TenNumb's ability, the crit results cannot be one of your crit results cannot be canceled by defensive dice. 37-point chip build, pretty expensive for a B-Wing, but B-Wing's a little bit beefy. He's got the 5 and 3, and with a 3 attack dice, 1 agility. He's got the focus, target lock, and barrel roll. It's got some positioning ability, but then you kind of need that focus result if you want calculation to work. So it's gonna be interesting. So, but with high skill value 8. You kind of are high up there, so you're going to be moving last, so I like that. All right, 37, so a little arc dodging. But then he's got HanSolo. This is not the new Han. This is the old Han. The younger Han, I should say. When PS9, 3 attack dice turret, primary weapon. 1 agility, 8 hull, but he increased that with hull upgrade to 9. And then 5 shields, gets focus and target lock as the action. And Han's ability's always been... everybody's been scratching their head with Han's ability when you play this. It says, when attacking, you may re-roll all of your dice. If you choose to do so, you must re-roll as many of your dice as possible. What that basically means is this. If you roll a dice, and let's say you roll all blanks, right? You're going to want to re-roll all of them, okay? This is not a target lock. It's like a target lock, but it's just basically giving you another chance of re-rolling dice, okay? So basically, the caveat to this is this. So let's say if you roll... Let's say you're range 1 and you're rolling 4 dice, right? You roll 2 hits and 2 blanks. Well, you can't just select the 2 blanks. You got to re-roll them all right? So that's the thing with HanSolo's ability. You have to re-roll them all. The only way you can't re-roll all dice if they've already been re-rolled, rolled by a target lock. So something that modifies a dice or ability from a defender, because the defender gets to modify your results first. If the defender can modify one of your roll and creates a re-roll, Han's ability will then kick in, but can't re-roll that die. And target locks don't work on this because if you use Han's ability and roll your dice, you can't re-roll again. You can only re-roll once. So keep that in mind. Now, he's got expertise on here. Everybody talks about the expertise card. We did a video on expertise. It says, when attacking, if you're not stressed, you may change all of your focus results to hit results. 4 points. You know, I like this because basically it's a focus, all right? You're allowing to change your focus results without a focus token. So it allows you to do other things with Han. Now, the only thing, though, with this, with Han's thing is you don't have any ability, like there's no, I mean, if you're using a focus token, you really have a target lock, but you have Han's ability as a target lock-ish. It's not really 100% target lock, but very similar. But then you got Gunner, right? After you perform an attack that does not hit, you may immediately perform a primary weapon attack again, and you may cannot perform another attack this round. So basically, you send everything, right? They use their tokens, they block you, and guess what? Now they're tokenless, and you can do Gunner because if the attack doesn't hit, you can do another primary attack. And then with Hotshot Co-pilot, which is nice, when attacking with a primary weapon, the defender must spend 1 focus token if available. Even though if you don't have any focus results, you still have to spend a token. You know, a lot of people don't know that. If you have a, let's say if you're defending, right, and you roll blank, 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 and you have a focus token, you still have to roll. You still have to spend the focus token. You can always spend the focus token, not manipulate dice. You can just say, I spend the focus token. And it also says when defending, the attacker must spend 1 focus token if available. So this goes both ways, so keep that in mind. Then he's got the hull upgrade for 3 points, increasing the hull value to 9. And then he's got the Millennium Falcon TFA title, which after you execute a 3-speed bank maneuver, if you're not touching another ship and you're not stressed, you may receive 1 stress token to rotate your ship 180 arc. So now it's 1 point. Total point build for this ship is 63 points. Right off the bat, I'm looking at that thing which says, the TFA title and expertise. You got to be careful when you use that because if you get stressed, expertise does not work. Keep that in mind. Always keep that in mind. Now, so what he says in his thing here, he says, he basically gives up the list and he says, okay, so Han shoots first. Now, this is his friend playing this. So he's playing this list. He's playing against this list. So he says HanSolo shoots first usually and basically guarantees 3 hits. Because he's got a lot of dice modification, absolutely. As long as he's not stressed. That's the whole thing with expertise. Now, if he rolls enough to roll enough evades to not need to spend the focus token, but you have to spend it anyway because of Hotshot Co-pilot, shoots again with Han because of Gunner, rolls 3 more hits. I take whatever damage and basically spend all my tokens. This is the annoying part. Then TenNumb shoots, all right, range 2. Okay, I can defend it. Rolls 2 hits, 1 focus. Okay, I can live with that. But wait, Bistan, the hit, spend my focus token 2 crits, 1 hit, and can't cancel 1 because I ran out of tokens. Fudge takes a crit to the face. Oh, I hate taking crits to the face. And how would you play against this? Berto, do you like this idea? I like this. If you're playing against this, list, this list is really interesting right off the bat. I mean, I like the mechanics of the list. So let me go right back to the list here. So, TenNumb, I actually kind of like the combination of Bistan. Now, the only thing I don't like is a 37-point ship, right? And you're only flying 2 ships on this list, so you got to be very careful. Now, you are flying a policy value 9 and 8, so you're high up on the totem pole, but you really don't have a lot of positioning ability except for TenNumb. He's got the barrel roll, but you want to kind of focus down. You want to focus down potentially so you can have calculation kick in and just deal crits like crazy. So keep that in mind. Also, actually, I was just looking at that. Professor Birch on our live stream comment says, expertise is kind of intuitive with Gunner. I have one of the other with Hotshot, so if you want a first shot to miss, Hotshot Han re-rolls the Gunner is great, but different with the elite. Different elite instead of expertise. So when attacking, if you're not stressed, you may change. So keep that in mind. That's a may, Professor Birch. So you don't have to use it. Right, if you're doing the first shot, right, you make them spend the focus token, no matter what. Then the Gunner comes in, right, and Gunner attacks, and then that's when you load up with expertise. So keep that in mind. It's a may, so you don't have to change your results, your focus results to hit results. But right off the bat, like tweaks, I would probably leave this the way it is. I probably wouldn't touch too much on this. The only thing, though, is, like I said, with Han's ability and Gunner and the combination Hotshot Co-pilot, I mean, basically, you're just working these 3 cards, Expertise, Gunner, and Hotshot Co-pilot. You want to basically deal as much damage you want. You have HanSolo's ability there just in case, right? Maybe you want to, maybe instead of the sloop title, maybe you go with the other title to give you the evade. I mean, that's just an idea. Because if I look at, let me go to my squad builder. If I go with the other title, it says your action bar gets the evade token. So maybe that might help keep HanSolo alive instead of the sloop. Because at the end of the day, you're just, this HanSolo ship is a big gunboat. You have the hull upgrade, so you're not doing engine boost or anything like that. The only two actions you have right now is focus and target lock. You kind of have a target lock built in with Han-Solo-ish. Maybe you might want to switch the titles out. So instead of the sloop, you might maybe want to do the one that gives you evade, so it helps with defense to maybe let the Han Solo survive a little bit longer-ish. Some people do the push the limit Han Solo version with push the limit and then maybe put boost on instead of hull upgrade. That gives you some positioning ability. Allows you to get close into other ships, especially with your possible value at 9. If you want to get like behind past another ship and out of their arc, you can potentially boost with that big old lard-based ship and get past them and then shoot them with 4 dice right in the face. I mean, that's just nasty. And especially with expertise and gunner and Hotshot Co-pilot, that's just a whole bunch of nastiness. So that's some combinations, but you would have to give up expertise for that. And then you might want the sloop title back. So there's like just got to think about the different combinations there to what you want to do. But there's, like I said, there's options, and depending on play style and how you want. Now, when you see this list, right, let me pull back the camera here. I think the biggest thing that the FAQ that just came out in March 2017 here, it changes a lot of different things. So a lot of ships are starting to come back. Now, some of the meta lists that are out there, like Fen Rao and double U-boats with missile boats. Also, maybe Kanan Biggs you might see out there. Dengaru's still alive. Dengar and Tel Trevor, who just won Worlds. These combinations are still out there. So 2 ship lists are still viable. But remember, I mean, if you're dishing out firepower, especially if you're playing against a Dengar and Tel Trevor, you are, basically Dengar, if he's in your arc, he's gonna fire twice at you. Right? As soon as you hit him, he's gonna fire at you. And then with your hunt, and now with a 100-point bid, you're the luck of the die roll, and also depending on what Dengar and Cheldravur what their initiative bid is, you might be moving the Millennium Falcon first, right? And then Dengar's ability to be able to reposition himself with the barrel roll and stuff like that, you got to be careful with that. But with this list, I mean, it's a hard-hitting list. I guarantee you this list will catch a lot of people when the first time they play it, because crits, when you're dealing crits, not to mention on how many double damage or direct hits cards are in an actually damage deck. I think there's seven. There's a lot of direct hits on top of all the other direct hits that you. I'm sorry, not direct hits. All the other damage cards you do not want to see. All right. You're stressing, or if you get damage sensor array, or all these other different things, or loose stabilizer, or major hull breach, all these crits you do not want. So TenNumb's ability basically is putting a lot of crits out, right? And if just one of them goes through, right, especially on a Fen Rao, or especially on some other ships that basically were down to hull, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot, especially with HanSolo's ability, because Han's stripping the tokens off you, especially with Hotshot Co-pilot and Gunner, right? Then TenNumb comes and says, hey, here, take some crits for you. Crits in the face. So keep that in the back of your mind when you're playing against this list. Now, how would you fly this list? This list, these 2 ships kind of want to be together, right? Think about it. They want to be together, and they want to kind of or be together where they position and they track down a particular target where it's both of those arcs. Because with a turret on Han Solo, you can be a little more creative with it, but with TenNumb, you have to get it in an arc. And you want Han Solo to shoot first at the ship that you're shooting at, because basically it strips everything, strips the tokens, and then TenNumb just sends crit loving at you. So how to fly, so keep that in mind. The biggest thing with also how to fly this list is maybe you fly TenNumb in the middle and Han Solo on one of the sides. Right now, if your opponent more likely is going to put their ships down first, so I would set Han Solo and TenNumb on the opposite side. So put TenNumb towards the middle, Han Solo probably on the outside, and you want to isolate ships. All right, that's a lot of strategy when you think about how you want to target ships. The more ships shooting at you, the more you get hurt. Right, plain and simple. And this is not a secret. I mean, if you guys have been on the receiving end of multiple ships shooting at you, it hurts. Right, the more you can isolate the ship how many ships are shooting at you, the better. The same thing also applies when you're trying to focus fire, right? This list, you want to focus fire. So also keep in mind that's potentially a weakness. Now, when we get into how we fly against this list, keep that in mind as a weakness. You want the focus fire list. Again, you want HanSolo to strip all the tokens and get maybe 1 or 2 hits in, and then you want TenNumb to send a lot of crits in. So keep that in mind in the back. I mean, that's the other thing. So when you're flying this list, definitely go around the debris, definitely go around the rocks. Allow your opponent to drag through their, rocks. You don't have to chase them, right? Slow roll TenNumb a little bit, right? And you're going to catch your opponents because this is a lot of damage output if they get it right. Bring HanSolo when you need to. When you see TenNumb and you see a person getting close to you, close to TenNumb, start bringing HanSolo around so you can have HanSolo shoot first. I mean, at the end of the day, all you got to do is just get in range 3, 360 degrees around that around HanSolo just to get them to ship, and that Hotshot Co-pilot will start working. Even if a person has auto thrusters or anything like that, it's still going to hurt. Stripping tokens sucks. All right, when you don't have a tokenless ship and you have just basically rolling on pure defensive dice, does defensive dice work out sometimes? Absolutely, but statistically, all right, you have the chances of rolling an evade or rolling a focus is not as much as compared to what the hits are. The ratios are different. If you guys never seen an actual hit, an attack die up close or an evade die up close, examine all the sides and do the ratios. The ratios to actually evades is less than evades of getting hits and crits. So keep that in mind. This list, you want these 2 ships to target 1 ship and focus fire and just whittle it down to nothing. That's the whole point of this list. Also, when you're flying this list, try to take out the aces first, right? Leave the other ships, the lower pile of skill value ships out. Now, unless they're running munitions or something to that effect, keep that in mind. Like, how would you play against munitions? Munitions will tear apart these ships. So let's go right into how you're going to fly against this list. All right? 1, munitions will tear apart this list. If you get, like, the 2, let's say, Fen Rao and the double jump missile boats, all right? Missile boats will rip apart this low agility ship because with guidance ships, and if they're running plasma torps or not plasma torps or proton torps or whatever the case the combinations are, and especially with TenNumb's ability, especially with the Jump Masters re-roll a thing and the whole combinations that they get with the focus token on Tiny Mind Link, right? It's going to hurt. They're going to send 4 dice to you. I guarantee you, I think the statistic ratio is like 3.7 times out of 10. Right, 3.7 times out of the 4 dice, you're going to have hits and maybe 1 or 2 crits. It's going to hurt when munitions hit this list, especially TenNumb with 1 agility and HanSolo with 1 agility. That's why I might want to maybe swap out the swoop title for maybe the evade title just to help HanSolo live a little bit longer. So keep that in mind. So what you want to do is, even if you have to fly past your, if you're flying this list, the TenNumb and HanSolo list, and you're playing against missile boats, it's okay to fly past them. Get out of that arc. You don't want to be in the business end of that firing arc and taking a whole lot of munitions at you. So try to make sure you also position your asteroids for watching out for the sloops for the Jump Masters. So keep that in mind. A lot of the other lists like Miranda Donnie with TLTs are going to eat up this list because, again, low agility ships with TLTs, think about it. If you have 2 TLTs, let's say 4 TLTs, right? That's potentially 8 damage in 1 turn to a ship now, and a Y-wing can take some of that brunt of loving that TenNumb and HanSolo's sending, right? And the gunner is probably not going to work on the Y-wing, all right? So think about it. So I think Y-wings, anything with TLTs, are going to hurt this list tremendously. So keep that in mind. Anything with munitions will hurt this list again because they're low agility ships. The only thing you have to do is catch these ships in arc. Especially TenNumb and HanSolo. But now, with HanSolo with no repositioning ability, right, you can probably catch it. And TenNumb, he does not want to be stressed, all right? You do not want to be stressed with TenNumb's ability, so keep that in mind as well. Because if you look at, where is it? With stress, like, or stress mechanics, or even with TenNumb's ability with calculations says when attacking you may spend a focus token. You want that focus token to turn it into a crit result, or use the focus token to turn actually to focus results to hit results. You want to maximize this damage, and then basically Bistan comes behind and adds more crits. So keep that in mind. Just with these ships can go down real fast if you catch them in arc. So remember that. All right, so some of the things like we talked about meta lists and what would fly very good against this. Like we talked about TLTs, we talked about missile boats, enemy missions, and a lot of TLTs are starting to come back. What's also starting to come back is the munitions. I mean, I don't actually think it was ever away. Munitions are hot and heavy, especially with guidance chips. Guidance chips is amazing. It allows you to modify your diets to make munitions more viable, and especially with proton. And if you're running plasma torps, right, against this list, plasma torps allows you to strip a shield. So TenNumb with those 5 shields, HanSolo with those 5 shields, guess what? It's going to hit. And guess what? They could take another shield on top of it. So let's say if you roll 3 to 4 hits, right? Not only does it go through, but they get to take another shield off for this. So that is going to be huge against this list. Is what's kind of like within the current meta. But yeah, low agility ships always frighten me a little bit. I ran ghosts for the longest time. Unless you have a lot of hit points like the ghosts to go through, it's still gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. I mean, these TenNumb, yeah, he's got 8, but it goes down pretty fast, especially if you get a couple ships shooting at him. And that's the other thing too. Is like I said, this list's power is isolating ships. That's why you want to set it up on the opposite end of the board. And if you remember that going up against that he's going to set up on the opposite end of the board, maybe you spread your ships out so he doesn't have an option, or maybe you put your ships in the middle of the board. All right, so it allows the player who's playing this list, right? Which way do I want to go? Now I can't go across the board because and try to drag you through the asteroids because now you're coming up the middle. So make sure you put your rocks and debris, try to clear up a middle lane as possible, and make sure you can turn in maybe 2 turns in where you can start venturing off and start facing these ships. So keep that in mind as well. But this, like I said, it's a nasty list. Oh yeah, it's going to hit, and it's going to hit hard. But it's a total beatable list. Bombs, like some people are talking on the live feed right now, it says talking about bombs and what have you. HanSolo's going to take bombs. Like if you're playing K-Wings against this and you have a bomb loadout, I would make sure I wouldn't advance slam. I would use my regular turreted weapon and get as many shots in on the turreted weapon on top of dropping a bombs onto HanSolo as many as I can. I wouldn't even try to advance slam. But bombs will definitely hurt this. Again, crits, this is an interesting list, but it's definitely beatable. All right. So, let's see here. Looking on the live stream field, everybody's talking about bombs. Seamus is talking about bombs. Ramaro's aggressors versus K-Wings. Boom booms, as they call them. But yeah, guidance chips, expertise, and torpedoes. That's a nasty combination if you're facing up against this list. Again, low agility ships are always hard. You just got to really play smart and try to, again, isolate your opponent's ships one by one. All right, so what do you guys think about this list? How would you guys fly it? How would you tweak it? How would you fly against it? And what do you think its weakness points and strengths and weaknesses are against current meta that's out there? Definitely leave it in the comments below. And always remember, if you guys like what we do, give it a like to the video down below. And also, check out our token store. We sell a lot of X-Wing tokens, Destiny, Imperial Assault, tanks, you name it. Also, check out our Team SPG. If you guys want to be part of us and play against us in Vassal League and a bunch of all the cool stuff, and also get some cool thank you gifts, monthly thank you gifts for supporting us and helping us keep the lights on and keep us doing what we're doing, definitely join up Team SPG. You guys get a lot of cool swag every month that, as I get things from different places, or we make cards just to give out to you guys, so you guys have just some cool things to play with. Definitely check out Team SPG if you're interested. There's a whole bunch of other perks too as well. Being part of Team SPG is exclusive forums where you get to talk to us and chat with us and what have you. Also, remember, check out our forums, community.slinkpaint.com. Check out our website, our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all that fun stuff. Also, if you guys want, always remember that if you guys have any questions, just leave it in the comments below. We do have a section in our forums where you can ask questions. And also the Listinator. If you guys have a list that you want to submit and you want us to do videos, we're going to start doing a lot more list reviews because you guys have been asking for them and submitting them. I think Listinator is probably our largest section within the website. Everybody's submitting their list and asking us what we think about them. But the cool part is also our community helps you guys and gives you different ideas to think about and what have you. So definitely put that in below. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this video up. Guys online, always a pleasure to see you guys. Love seeing you guys online. It's usually the same crew. Love it. If you guys have any questions, again, leave it in the comments below. And always remember, when you're slinging more paint than your opponent does, you're probably going to win. Thanks, guys.